Hello, everyone, and welcome back to The Cut Line, presented by the Hoosier Network. I'm Graham Nash, of course, joined by Andrew Hillsman, and it's a bit of a different look today here on The Cut Line. We're on Zoom, Andrew.
Yes, we are. It's like we're back in COVID, Graham. We don't have our awesome podcast studio at Franklin Hall, but, you know, we're going to find ways to produce our content and talk about golf, which is a blast. And we missed a week. You were in Australia.
I was.
You know, what woe is you, right? Oh, couldn't talk about golf for a week. Oh, I'm in Australia. No, I'm kidding. But, of course, you had a blast there, had some good times. Now you're back and ready to get back to your actual job, which is talking about golf with me. So,
I am.
We missed one of the worst weeks to miss
I know.
in the whole season. I feel like we say that anytime we say it's going to be a quiet week, it's never a quiet week in professional golf. We missed a major preview, man.
I know.
It was a fun major to watch. I don't know how much you were watching if you were traveling, but it was back and forth. And Scotty Scheffler, he got it done for his third ever major and his first other than Augusta National. So, hey, clap it up for Scotty.
That's right. A golf clap for Scotty Scheffler.
Yep.
I will admit I was not able to watch a lot because it pretty much was played when I was asleep in Australia.
Right, yeah. The Australia time difference would probably do it a little bit.
Yeah, 14 hours ahead
that
of
would do
Eastern
Yep.
Standard Time. So I would wake up and the leaders would be on like 16. So I woke up on Sunday. All right, yeah. No, I woke up on Monday.
Right, because it's a day ahead for you, right?
Time travel, dude. Actual time travel. I woke up on Monday and Scotty already had a 5-shot lead. So I was like, all right, well.
All right, I can go back to bed.
Exactly, pretty much. Scotty, he got off to a bit of a slower start. Went 69 in the first round. Yep. Xander, and Rory, the top three in the world, they really struggled, dude, in those opening rounds. They had a tough time. But Scotty then went 68 on Friday, 65 on Saturday, which was the big one, and then closed it out with a 71 to win by 5 over Harris English and Bryson DeChambeau, dude. He has been in some unbelievable form in majors as of late. He's finished tied for 6th or better in 5 of his last 6 majors, and that, of course, includes a win. He looks like he's a major mainstay at this point.
You know, he is, and it reminds me of, obviously, he hasn't won as much as, you remember late 2010s Brooks Koepka, right? The run that he had in majors, he wasn't really winning a lot of other stuff, but he was purely dominant in majors. We're going to talk about Brooks Koepka a little later and just the shocking downfall that we've seen from him, especially since he went to LIV. He's just not shown up in majors, and he hasn't really won anything in LIV. I don't think he's won an event in the, what is this, 3rd year of the competition's existence? I don't think he's won an event.
That's a very good question. I want to check that now.
I don't think he has. I feel like I would have seen it if he does, or if he had. But, you know, back to my point about Bryson, you look at him, he is so darn good when it matters, but he just hasn't cracked what it takes to become a consistent major champion. Don't get me wrong. He's won a major. He is one of the greats in golf. That's so hard to do. Yeah. And at a course like Pinehurst at the U.S. Open, come on. He's a heck of a golfer. But when you go toe-to-toe with these other guys like Scotty Scheffler, I totally forgot that Harris English became somebody that we were talking about. 2025 Harris English, 2025 tournament winner Harris English. Don't put any disrespect on Harris English's name. But you look at it, and Bryson, it's so reminiscent of what happened at the Masters. Obviously not in as big of a stage. He wasn't in the final group on Sunday at the greatest golf course in the world.
Right.
But he did kind of fall apart. He was right there after Friday or Saturday. I can't remember which. And then we just kind of played himself out of the conversation with a couple of bogeys in bad spots.
Yeah, it was he and John Rahm kind of did the same thing. I saw, I think it was Chambly said after the round, he was like, we shouldn't really be surprised by this from LIV golfers because they only play 3 rounds. And, you know, this has kind of been in the air. This has been talked about ever since LIV said, hey, we're playing 54, not 72. Was that, okay, could their stamina last? I think
and we're doing shotgun starts.
Yeah, and right. I think we're finally kind of getting our answer.
That's one of the things that people I think overlook. They do shotgun starts. It's like your dude's member guest. They should have flights. So like I want to see a live event.
Oh my
This is just
gosh.
you know where I'm
I
getting at
do.
with this. Have have the pros, have a couple of pros up there. But then you find local 20 and 25 handicappers to just throw in the lowest flights with guys that maybe aren't doing so hot and say, "Hey, if you can't carry these guys to some good finishes, you're off the darn tour."
That would be hilarious, dude.
That'd be
That's
peak entertainment
That would be. Do you remember the whole thing during the Olympics where it's like, I want one normal, regular person doing
from
all
each
of the
country.
for each country doing
Yes.
the Olympic. This
I
feels
mean,
like
that's
that.
what we had in breakdancing with that Australian lady, but I digress. Um, you didn't forget about that, did you?
Was it? It was breaking, right? That's what it was called. The event.
Yes. Yes. You know they removed it for 2028, right? That was a one
Yes,
year. They're like, no, we're done with this.
it's
So
so funny.
stupid.
It's so funny.
Anyway, back to golf.
Back to
Wouldn't that be
golf,
funny? Like, hey, if Liv wants to boost viewership, there's your answer.
dude. I would watch that in a
Sign
heartbeat.
me up. Yep.
Sign
Yep.
me up. Well,
Yeah.
I've got your answer about Brooks Koepka. He's won 4 times on Live. He
Right.
won twice in
Okay.
23, twice in
Okay.
2024, but
Right.
he has had
But
a
this
very
year he's
bad
struggled.
25.
Yeah, I was wrong. You know, he has won, but he hasn't it doesn't seem like he's had some success on live, but he hasn't found the same spots in majors.
Yeah.
The last couple of years, there's only been a couple of times where he's really been in contention at the Big Four. I feel like.
Yeah.
And correct me if I'm wrong, that's not a play style that really meshes with the Open. No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
But not everybody's going to. Anyway, it's
Right.
an interesting thing to think about when you talk about these live guys playing in majors. They are still really good, especially Bryson and John Rahm. The top of the top that are going to contend at majors. But I remember a lot of people talking about Joaquin Neiman and how good he has been. We talked about it our last podcast that we did. How consistently good he has been on the
Yeah.
live tour. He's won the most events. I think he's won the most money as well. And he's kind of been a no name when it comes to majors. He just hasn't really shown up outside of
Yeah.
the live tour. It's odd.
It is odd. And I remember on Thursday at the Masters, he had a really good start. And
Right.
I was like, oh, like,
Okay.
here goes that dude.
He's going to contend. And he fell
Exactly.
apart.
He
He
fell
played himself
apart.
out of contention.
Yeah. So I don't know what it is. You know, if you're live, it looks bad because you want your guys to win the majors. You want them to
Right.
have that stamina to compete. But if
But
you
you don't
change
want
it
it
to
to just be
72,
like Bryson as well.
and you don't want to just be Bryson, and if
Yeah.
they change their format now to 72
Oh,
holes,
they
it's
can't.
yeah, they're
That's
completely
their
abandoning their
brand.
brand.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I don't know
No,
what they're
I
gonna
don't. I
do.
don't think they ever thought they were going to do that. I think Live Golf is going to stay what it is. And to talk about this merger, it feels like it's just kind of fallen by the wayside. Which I don't know what you
Yeah.
expected when it was announced. My thinking was like, "Hey, if this goes through, this is going to be great." But there's no chance that this is actually going to work.
Yeah.
It was never going to work.
I don't think so either.
They threw us some breadcrumbs and they're like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
here you go," and we're going to sit on it for 2.5 years and not do anything about it.
Yeah, I don't know what's with that. Like everyone's talking about, oh, like let's bring golf back together. Let's bring the best players in the world back together again. And this just hasn't happened. It's just
No.
kind of crumbled.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's the weirdest thing. We don't unfortunately have any news on that. I wish we did because that's always such a good talking point.
Yeah.
But I do want to talk about Scotty a little bit more. He has been on an unbelievable run of form since 2022. He has missed 3 cuts and he's won 3 major championships.
Wow.
That is
It's pretty good
astounding.
company.
That is
Yeah.
pretty good company. Additionally, he joins Tiger Woods and Jack Nicklaus as the only players since World War II to win
Wow.
3 majors and 15 PGA Tour titles before their 29th birthday.
Who
How-
was
how
the
old is
best
Scotty?
golfer in the World War II era? I don't remember. Because that was before. Well,
The
was that
40s?
was that before Arnold Palmer?
I believe so. Oh,
Time to
man.
go to Google.
Yeah, this is going to look bad. Oh, Byron Nelson,
During
dude. Nelson,
the
Byron
CJ
Nelson,
Cup
and
Byron
Ben
Nelson,
Hogan.
right?
Yeah.
That's his name, right?
CJ Cup, Byron Nelson, and then Ben
That's
Hogan.
right. Okay, Ben Hogan, of course.
Ben Hogan. I don't.
Of
Yeah,
course. Yeah.
that's
You're right. Great company. Let's see. You said, 3 majors, 15 PGA Tour titles before he's 30. Scotty's
yeah.
got it going on, man. Like he's got everything.
Yeah.
But this weekend was not as dominant as obviously we saw him play. What did he shoot? 31 under at the CJ Cup? Something
Yeah.
insane.
He was in the 30s.
Eric Van Rooyen shot like minus 23 and lost by 9 shots or 8 shots.
Yeah.
He's like, what do you do? But no, he had to earn
Yeah.
this one.
He did. He did. He really couldn't hit a fairway to save his life on the first 9 holes. He was struggling, but then he drilled his tee shot down the middle on 10 and everything changed. He has won his last 2 events by a combined 13 shots. And this comes after Phil Mickelson said he wouldn't win an event before the Ryder Cup. Oops.
Really, really good call, Phil. Really
Great
good.
take, Phil.
Yeah.
Really
Yeah.
great take.
Oh my
But
gosh.
I mean, Scotty has retaken the title of best in the world, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
Rory
Rory
obviously is still
struggled.
up there. Rory
He had a tough week. He really did.
did. He especially had a tough week considering all the driver drama, which is exactly what I want to get to
Yeah.
now. Rory
This was a
failed the driver
saga.
test.
He
Yeah.
did.
He failed the driver's test,
Now,
which
Graham, for the viewers at home, explain, I guess, what the process is for these PGA guys, because they've got to have USGA conforming equipment.
right.
How does it go like for them?
So pretty much, from how I understand it, they pick 50 golfers per tournament around there, and they check their drivers. And what's considered non-conforming for a driver face is when it becomes too thin. And that's just normal wear and tear. Like my driver that I've got in my closet right now in my car or whatever, that's probably non-conforming because the more you hit golf balls, the thinner that face is going to get. And so Rory failed a driver's test. Scotty failed a driver's test. He went on to win, which is astounding. But people were so caught up in this because it's the same driver Rory used to win the Masters. And the thing
Right.
is, as that driver face gets thinner and thinner, the ball goes further and further.
Gets hotter. Right.
So people are kind of getting weird about it. I don't think it's that big of a deal.
I don't either, because it's not like these guys are going to do those tests on their own. It's not their responsibility, right?
Right.
And it's also not, I don't think you can, I think a lot of people are lumping it in with the idea of like, how, especially in like, most sports, I think they do it in golf. If they don't, they should. I'm sure they do. The idea of like random drug tests for PEDs. Like you think about it in baseball, right? Like Jose Alvarado, a pitcher for the Phillies, just got suspended 80 games for using PEDs. It was some like growth testosterone thing that he allegedly didn't know, but you got to be careful with those things. Remember, these guys aren't doing their own tests, and it's not, you don't get suspended. You don't get, you just, they're like, hey, just use a new driver or use the same spec, just use a different club head and you'll be fine. Go have fun.
Yeah.
But Rory, I guess he was just not comfortable with switching. And these guys know their game so well that even if you put the same spec club in their hands, it's not what it's not what they're used to. So it's different. Scotty
Yeah.
seemed like he did all right. That's all.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Scotty
But-
adapted.
So yeah, 50 a week. I feel like you got to test everybody's, right?
I agree. I think
you
do.
you either test everyone's or you don't test it at all. I don't
I
think you
agree.
can. I think it's I don't think you can do it in a non-absolute way.
Yeah, it reminds me a lot. I mean, you're a big Formula One guy, I know.
Yeah.
It reminds me a lot of how they'll check the underbellies of some of the cars
Sure.
after a race,
Mhm.
but not everyone. And it's like,
Yeah.
why aren't we checking everyone? If you're going to disqualify, Lewis Hamilton, but you
Sure.
don't check Charles Leclerc,
Yeah.
he is in the same car. It's very
Right.
likely, what are we doing here?
The other thing is that they do an F1 for every car is that you have to have, I think George Russell a couple of years ago. This is still a golf podcast. Remember, we'll get back to golf.
We will
But
talk about it.
this is a good analogy because like it's more severe in these other sports. I think in F1 they test every car because I think you have to have a minimum amount of fuel left in your tank at the end of the race, and if it's below that, you get disqualified.
Right.
I think George Russell won a race, and then they tested his car. It was like second or third. They tested his car, and he got disqualified because he didn't have enough fuel left. So it was one of those things. But in golf, they're just like, hey, just use a different driver, and you'll be fine. Because
Yeah.
I think the performance gains are pretty negligible, especially you think about how fast these guys wear down their drivers. They're playing a ton. They don't have like practice and, playing clubs. I think, for example, in baseball, some guys will break in new gloves for later in the season during spring training while
Right.
they still have their already broken in glove that's ready for the start of the season. That's not what golf guys do. They use the same stuff. They don't like to change. So I think, like you said, and like I said earlier, this has got to be something where they're going to test it either everybody, which is really hard to do for most of these events, or you just don't do it at all. But if you don't do it at all, then I think you cause some more, reliability and integrity issues.
Yeah, you run the risk of guys like Bryson, who's printing his own clubs.
Right,
Of
right. You have to test that sort of stuff because
exactly.
it's such a fine margin. And a guy like Bryson, people have called him literally the mad scientist of golf.
Yeah,
And it's an apt nickname. It fits
I
because
like it.
he's a guy who's going to go out and try and find every inch of the regulations, every millimeter of anything performance wise that he can extract out of the rules and get it,
Yeah, I think
which is great. I think it's great.
I do too. He pushes the boundaries. He's pushing the game of golf in ways that we have never seen,
Yeah.
in more ways than just creating his own clubs and stuff.
Yeah.
I think to get back to the Rory conversation, what made it worse for him was that he then went on to skip media for 4 consecutive days.
Yeah.
It's a bad look on Rory, but I also don't blame him because I think that golf media is one of the worst in
Yeah.
sports right now. I know that did you finish Full Swing season
I
3?
have not yet. I need to, but I can see where you're coming from because I think a lot of members of the golf media, they're definitely not listening. So, I feel like they don't appreciate how much goes into what these guys are doing. It's not just their swing. They are taking into account. Like I watched a video this week of how Tiger Woods breaks down an iron shot. He goes through a billion times more just different thought process than I do. I'm like, "Oh, it's 180. I should hit 7 iron." I hit 7 iron. I usually miss. I'm like, it was still the right club. But these guys, they're so much more meticulous when it comes to their shot planning. I feel like a lot of people, especially fans, but also media, they don't take that into account. I don't think they give enough credit to these guys where credit is due.
Yeah, and I think also that because golf is so individual, that it's so much easier for these reporters to create relationships with the
Sure.
players and to
Yeah.
care more about them as people. So
Okay.
what I've noticed is specifically, this is an example of Dan Rappaport, who we've
Sure.
mentioned a lot on this podcast, actually.
Yep.
But in either the first episode or the second episode of the latest season of Full Swing, when they were going through Rory filing for a divorce with his wife, which
Oh
then
yeah.
dropped, the question that Dan asked at the press conference was something along the lines of, he said, on a personal level, how are you doing? And
That's
that's not a reporter's question.
It's not. No. And you and I are media students.
Right.
If one of our professors caught what you think about if Mike Wells caught wind of one of us asking that questions, we would get crucified on Monday in class.
Oh yeah,
We would get killed.
we would.
It's
Because
just not it's not our place to ask as media.
exactly.
It's just
So
not.
I think that there's a lot of that in golf
Yeah.
media. And so I
Yeah.
don't blame Rory. Honestly, I mean, he should have gone to media because
I agree.
as media
He's the
students,
defending Masters champion.
exactly, that as well.
It's
Like
yeah.
you got to go. But I do understand, not wanting to get personal, and they're
Yeah.
going to get personal. So I think
Yeah.
half of it's on Rory. I think half of it's on the media. I think that the golf
I
media needs
agree.
to make a change. How? I don't know,
Yeah.
because it's just kind of the
It's
way
got to
things
be.
are.
It can't just be one person. I mean, one person can kind of start it, but somebody's got to figure out where the problem lies and then attack it at the source. All
Yeah.
right, let's shift topics. Another big storyline. We talked about clubs. Let's talk about golf balls. The mud balls, Graham. Huge debate, especially on Thursday when it was really wet.
Mud ball,
Mud
bubble.
ball.
The mud balls
Yeah.
were egregious.
Now
Scotty
again,
and Xander went in.
yeah, they did. Now, if people don't know what a mud ball is, Graham, I'm sure you've dealt with plenty of them in your playing career. So,
I hate them.
Explain in layman's terms.
I hate it. So, mud balls, if there's mud on the left side of the golf ball as it sits on the grass, it's going to go way right just because it
Yep.
messes with the spin. If it's on the right side of the ball, it goes way left. If
Yep.
it's on the top, bottom, front, back, it's just going to knuckle and you have no idea what's going on.
You're
Really, you
along
have
for the
no
ride.
idea. Yeah, you're along for the ride. You really have no idea what it's going to do if there's any mud on the ball because you don't know how much the mud's going to affect
Yep.
where it goes. So what we saw Scotty and Xander dealing with was I think it was on like the 16th hole.
Yep.
Scotty, middle of the fairway, perfect drive, mud on his ball. It was super wet conditions. They weren't playing lift clean in place in the fairway, which is
Yep.
usually what should happen when it's that wet.
Yep.
And he caught a mud ball and went flying right. And I think he ended up either bogeying or doubling the hole. But what he said was nothing is more frustrating than literally working your entire life to learn how to control a golf ball and then hitting a perfect shot in the middle of the fairway and having no idea where it's going to go. I couldn't agree more with that. And
Yeah.
also, this
I
is the
feel like,
second major in a
yeah.
row where we've seen this issue.
Yeah. It happened at the Masters and it's happening here. So do you think in majors, I maybe the officials of the tournament are hesitant to enforce lift clean in place in big events? I don't know what the thought process around that is.
Yeah, I think that's definitely what it is, especially with Augusta National. There's this
Yeah,
idea
they'll
of
never
Augusta
do it there.
National that it's perfect, right? And so I
Right.
think that carries on to the major championships. Oh, it's the toughest tests in golf. They're not supposed to have easy shots. But again,
But at that point, it's out of your control. Like we want to see guys make crazy shots, right? Like
right,
you think about Rory's hook around the trees at Augusta. If there was mud on his ball, there's no chance he does that. He has no
right,
idea where that's going. So
exactly.
we want to see guys one be challenged, which they can get challenged without these mud balls. But two, we want a fair test of play.
Yeah, you shouldn't be challenged when you stripe a drive down the middle of the fairway.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And that's
that's
the other thing. Like people on tour, I think some people, at least fans, complain about, if and I definitely do, about if you stripe a drive right down the middle of the fairway and you land in somebody else's divot, by the rules of golf, you aren't allowed to move your ball out of it. So you
yeah,
are punished for someone's not caring about the course and not fixing their divot that they took on the fairway. And you're punished for basically hitting a dead center drive because it's somehow, by whatever stroke of bad luck, ended up in somebody else's divot in the fairway.
did
And
you
you
see?
you can't you can't pick a ball out of that. You just
Right.
can't.
Did you see the whole fiasco with Shane Lowry when he hit a ball into a divot?
Yes. Oh my God, he went crazy.
He was so mad.
He
He
was
was
pissed. Yeah.
so mad.
Yeah.
Well, the funny part about the mud balls was that Johnson Wagner of Golf Channel, he recreated the shots on social media. Well, it went on social media, but he did it for the Golf Channel. It was so funny. I don't know if you saw it, Andrew, but he
I
like
didn't.
set up exactly like he explained like I did. Okay, if there's mud here, then it goes this way. If there's mud here, it goes
Yeah.
that way. And he said, he had two golf balls. He had one with mud on the left side of the ball, one with mud on the right side of the ball. And he said, he was like, if Scotty and Xander are really that concerned about it, they should just bunt one up the fairway, let it roll, and then get themselves in a perfect scenario for their next shot.
Sounds easy.
Sounds easy.
Yeah. Yeah.
He steps up to the first ball, takes a full swing, and it's miles right. It is as far right as it could go. I think he hits it and goes, "Oh, that's in the houses or something." And he's like, "Four." And then he steps up to the second ball and he goes, "Now this time I'm just gonna hit the bunt shot. I'm gonna hit what I think the Scotty and Xander should have done and just bunt it up the fairway."
Just
It's
like a
the
little
bunt
punch
shot,
shot.
just a
Yeah.
little punch shot. He hits the shot, it goes further right. And he was
It just careens off.
yes.
What?
He yells four again. And it's so funny. He's a
Yeah.
great guy and he's really
He
good on
is.
the
Yeah,
Golf
he's funny.
Channel. So I
Was he the guy who tried to recreate Bryson's bunker shot
I
at
think
Pinehurst?
so.
I think that was him. That was funny.
He's so funny.
Yeah,
But I thought that was
that's
hilarious.
great. Yeah.
Well,
Goes to
and
show you, man, like it's more of an effect than you and I and the average viewer ever think it is.
exactly. No, it's so tough. It's
These guys are playing a different game.
yeah, they are.
It's the same rules, but it's different. Well, not the same rules, but all the rules they actually enforce. We don't.
Right. We just kick the mud off. We clean it every time, roll it back down. No mud balls in our game.
Nope, nope. The two most powerful clubs in the bag are the foot wedge and the pencil.
I haven't heard the pencil. That's a good one. I
Oh
like
yeah,
that
that's the
line.
best one.
The foot
All
wedge is a
right.
classic.
Oh yeah.
We'll end our PGA talk with some funny Scotty Scheffler moments from the week, seeing that he won. First of all, Scotty wore a burnt orange day one at the PGA. Symmetry. It was amazing. I couldn't have been happier.
I thought initially it was because obviously he's an alum, he's an alumnus of the University of Texas.
Ah,
However, he hasn't worn Texas burnt orange since like 2013.
yeah,
He doesn't do it on tour. So this was an intentional decision, a throwback to last year when he got arrested, put in the jumpsuit, and inmate number one ever, number like whatever, went on to shoot 600 at Valhalla on Friday.
that was insane. I thought
Nuts.
for sure he was going to win that event. I couldn't believe he didn't.
Yeah.
Um,
He's a guy who's really just been able to turn his life around. The rehabilitation system works. He went to prison. He did something bad. He reformed his life. Now look at him. He is winning at life.
he is. It's a great system. The system
It's a great
works.
story.
Never question it.
Yeah. But no, it's so funny. Scotty is a guy who can take and make a joke, and I love it.
Yeah, he seriously can. So can Nike.
Oh,
Nike's
yes.
ad
This was
for
so funny.
Scotty was phenomenal after his win. It had a picture of him swinging with his footwork, and it just said above him in a caption, "Best player in the world?" Question mark. Guilty.
Guilty as charged.
Guilty as charged.
Oh, man.
Lastly, for our funny Scotty Scheffler moments, he pulled a Cullen Morikawa, dropped the top of the trophy when he lifted the Wanamaker in the air. It fell off, and he didn't flinch. He was just like, "Oh, I'll do it again."
Oh,
He lifted it
do it
right back
again.
up.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was a fun event. I'm not sure I love Quail Hollow as a major
Yeah.
championship venue.
Someone had, I forget who it was. Someone had a hilarious and, somewhat just a little bit odd comparison. Um, Someone described Quail Hollow as Kim Kardashian. Do you see this one?
No,
No.
I'm scared.
Um, and I think it went as follows. It looks great on the outside, but it doesn't really have any soul or character. And I'm like, wow. Again, not my words, but someone said it
Wow.
on Thursday. But, removing the Kardashian example, it's a course that just didn't really have a, defining factor to it, I feel like.
No.
It was fun golf to watch, but it just kind of felt, a little just boring.
Yeah, it didn't have any bite. There was
Right.
no bite to that golf
And
course.
we talked about it. Like in our last episode, I feel like we mentioned how each major has its own special characteristic. Obviously, Augusta National, the Masters. No need to be said more about that. The Open, classic British links golf, British, Scottish, UK, all that stuff. And then the Open, the US Open is notorious rough up to your knees. If you lose it in the thick stuff, your ball's OB. And just tough, punishing conditions. The PGA is just kind of like, okay, it's golf, you know?
Yeah,
And I feel like we saw a lot of that this weekend.
we did. The PGA's, I
Don't
feel
get
like,
me wrong.
always been the fourth major.
It
You
has.
know?
Don't get me wrong. It was great golf. Quail Hollow is a fantastic course. I would love to play it one day. I'm not in the quadruple digits of money that I can spend, so I can't really play it. However,
Yeah,
I mean, but it's a major championship of golf. It's got to have something.
it does. I agree. I don't know what it is. I think they got to figure that out.
We're not course architects. We're not Tom Fazio. We're not Pete Dye. We're not, Gary, or who else designs courses?
Jack
Greg
Nicklaus.
Norman. That's right.
Yeah,
Yep,
there
Jack
you go.
Nicklaus. Yeah, Greg
We're none of
Norman.
those guys.
Great white shark. Anyway, let's move on to this week. We have the Charles Schwab Challenge, and our defending champion is none other than Davis Riley.
Yeah, haven't heard that name in a while.
I know.
Mr. Riley. There's some fun notables. This is going to be a good tournament, though. I did not expect
Yeah.
it. I thought it was going to be a smaller field. First
Yeah.
of all, Michael Block
It's
is
oh,
back in the
boy.
field.
Oh boy.
He shot. So Michael Block, for those who are unfamiliar,
This is in our gimme section. We need to talk about this now.
we need to talk about this now.
Yeah.
For those who are unfamiliar, Michael Block, PGA professional,
Yep.
not a tour player. He
Nope.
teaches,
He's a
and
good golfer,
he's a
obviously.
good golfer. He played in what was it, the 2023 PGA Champ? Yeah,
I think
2023
so. Yes,
PGA
it was.
Championship,
Yep.
and took the world by storm. Made the
Yep.
cut, finished. I think he like top 10 or
Yeah.
something, and was phenomenal. He made it back to the PGA this year. He fired an 82 on Friday, missed the cut, and he blamed the small gallery following him for his poor play.
Nah, that ain't it. You just played bad, man.
He just played bad. He was
He's
like,
terrible.
I need the big gallery to hit big shots.
Michael Block coming to live soon. Anybody?
Oh my gosh. Dude, that's right up their alley.
You know it. He won't do it, but
No,
after
that'd be
that comment, I feel like
crazy.
that's, hey, we got a spot for you. We got $50 million for you.
We do.
You
Oh
just have
my
to wear like a
gosh.
block head when you play.
That would be crazy, dude.
Anyway, yeah, I thought it was funny. I honestly think that with Michael Block, I don't think he was serious. I think he was kind of joking a little bit.
Yeah, I hope
I
so.
don't know for sure. I hope he was, because that's just kind of a crazy thing to say.
That is a crazy thing to say. We've got some other good notables. Akshay Bhatia is competing. He missed the cut at the PGA, I believe, so he'll be looking for some redemption. Blades Brown, the then
He hasn't
17
played
year
a minute.
old,
Yeah. Is
when
he
he,
18 now?
I think he's 18 now. I could be wrong. Anyway, straight out of high school.
Yep,
And
he's
then
18.
he's
Well,
18.
actually, hold on. He's not yet. His birthday is tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow's we're filming May 21st.
Yeah, there you go.
Happy birthday, Blades Brown. May
Oh
we be the
seven.
first.
These kids are, jeez, man.
Oh
When
seven.
professional athletes, when they start to get younger than us, like Connor Bedard in hockey is 5 days younger than me. That's the point where I'm like, oh boy, here we go. I'm never
Oh,
gonna escape this. This is
dude.
when this starts. So
2007 is nuts.
oh seven, yeah,
That hurts. That I don't like that at all.
me neither.
And we're gonna move right past that
Oh
because I'm
yep,
uncomfortable.
just yep.
Hideki Matsuyama and Scotty Scheffler, the only two representing the top 10 in the field. Scotty trying to go back to back and win all of his last three at the Charles Schwab Challenge. We'll see if he can do so. No live golf tournament this week, of course, not
Nope.
until June. Live Golf Washington, D.C. from June 6th to 8th is the next event. A lot of time for them to chillax, prep for the Open that's upcoming. I wonder if we're going to see any of them on the DP World Tour prepping for, because I mean they got to play
The
something.
U.S. Open, yeah. I mean, do they get access to the U.S. Open qualifiers? I think they do.
Yeah,
Because remember, I think it was today, Taylor Gooch walked off the last three holes and quit, and he's not going to play in the U.S. Open because he didn't
yeah,
qualify.
that's
I think
right.
you saw that story,
I
right?
did, yeah.
Yeah, it's
I saw
odd, really
that.
odd.
That is really odd. It'll do that to you, man. That is the longest day in golf. That's what it's called. That last day of the U.S. Open
Really?
qualifier. I think it's 18 holes in the morning, 18 in the afternoon, and
Oh my
it is
god,
just
on that hard of a
grueling.
course? Oh god,
Yeah.
no thanks. I think I would shoot over 210 that day. Maybe I might be over 220
And dude, yeah, that would be
on
so
those
tough.
courses. I'd
Right.
lose everything,
I
man.
saw something hilarious. This guy lost his fantasy football league, and his punishment was he had to
Oh
play a U.S.
god,
Open local.
people were so mad at him
I
too.
know.
People were so mad at him.
He showed up late. He showed up late to his tea time.
Yeah,
Oh, and then he just
that you
shot a
probably shouldn't
million.
do. Yeah,
Yeah, that was
I think
not
he
good.
broke 120 to his credit.
There you go. That's better
Sure.
than most.
All right.
He's better than
Better than
most.
most. Better than most.
Well, we'll move on to our gimmies section, our quick news
Oh boy,
hits.
do we have a ton.
We have a ton. Bryson DeChambeau said on Sunday that he needs to find a golf ball that will fly straighter. Boy, Bryson, don't we
Hey,
all?
he's preaching to the choir, man,
He
like
is.
we all do. What does he mean by this?
He was talking about how the faster you swing it, the harder you
Yep.
hit it. Gave
Yep.
examples of him and Rory. The harder it is to control your golf ball, which,
Which is true.
yes,
Yes.
that's just a fact of life. That's kind of
Yep.
what you give up, knowing that you're swinging harder is you're giving up that control.
Yeah.
So I don't know what he's talking about. He said that it's not. I think he's going back to his science brain. He's going to try to manufacture something,
Yeah.
get in the lab and see if he can do it. But I'm like,
I don't think you can. I feel
Yeah.
like companies like Titleist, Callaway, they've almost perfected the golf ball with what technologies exist in 2025
Yeah, you'd think. I don't know what else he has. Like, what can he go to?
and what
Strixon?
is legal under the rules.
Yeah. That
Right?
see, I
Like
don't even
there are
know.
rules. There are rules that you have to have a golf ball that conforms, and the big box manufacturers and everybody who wants, because these guys get a ton of money from exposure from tour players and pro players playing their equipment, especially Titleist.
Yeah.
They have not a monopoly, but they have the lion's share of you know guys playing their golf balls on pro tours. So, but I'm sure they have made some sort of golf ball that they just went and told their engineers, hey, this is going to be a prototype. If they haven't, they really should, because I would love to see how this would play. This is going to be a prototype. Disregard every golf rule that exists. Do not make this a conforming ball. Make this the very best golf ball you can. Have fun. Go at it.
That'd be
Like a
crazy.
science fair project. I think that'd be pretty cool. I don't know. No,
I think that would be cool too.
it'd be great.
I mean, yeah, to see like Rory McIlroy play with just like a nuke.
Yeah, yeah.
Just swing that'd be
And
crazy.
then with like a non-conforming driver too, like just make the greatest driver, most aerodynamic, fastest swing speed you can. Put a rocket booster on the back of it, see what happens. But like, it's just one of those things I'm like, I would love to see that happen.
I would too. That'd be so cool. Well, we talk about Rory and Bryson. That's our next gimme. Rory McIlroy addressed Bryson, saying at the Masters that Rory refused to talk to him during the final round. And what Rory had to say was this, quote, "We're trying to win the Masters. I'm not going to try to be his best mate out there," which I
Yeah.
think is what everyone was kind of thinking.
Yeah, I think everybody but Bryson was saying that. It's like, hey, it's Sunday at the Masters, buddy. You got to lock in. Like, this is not
Yeah.
the time to be buddy buddy, break 50 on your YouTube channel making friends. Come on.
Yeah. Shape
Rory
up.
knows that better than anybody. He's a
Yeah.
competitor. So is Bryson, but I don't think as a competitor, you probably can't put as much weight into that sort of stuff, especially in that high pressure of a situation. You just can't.
I agree. Hideki
I don't think
Matsuyama.
it's fair to.
No, I agree. Yeah. Hideki Matsuyama, he kind of went viral over the
This was
weekend.
funny.
He missed
Yeah.
the cut at the PGA,
Yep.
but on Friday, he was filmed launching golf balls into the stratosphere after his round. It was so funny. Did you see it?
He was putting every ounce of disappointment and anger into those golf balls and he was mashing them.
And he was like grinning. He was like laughing
Yeah,
the whole
yeah,
way.
yeah. He was just blowing off some steam. Looked like he was training for like the World Long Drive tour.
Yeah.
He was like just letting it fly. It was funny.
It was so funny. Well, speaking of cut lines, Xander Schauffele clutched up to keep his consecutive cut streak alive. He went 2 under on his final 7 holes to make the cut on the number, keeps his streak of 64 consecutive made cuts alive. It's the longest active streak on tour.
Yeah.
Another great character on the PGA had a great moment. Siwoo Kim. He made an ace on the par 3 sixth hole at the PGA from 252 yards out. His 6 aces are the most on the PGA since 2016, with 2 coming in major championships. That is insane.
Yeah, he's probably got the most luck on those par threes amongst anybody on tour.
It's insane. Have you had a hole in one, Andrew?
No, I have not. My dad
Okay.
hasn't either,
Really?
which is the more shocking thing. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a
I've seen him
warrior.
come very close, but
Dang.
he's never got it. It'll come. I think that maybe this is the year. I don't know.
It will come.
But yep.
What
You've had
else?
one, correct?
I've got one. I had one after
Yeah.
my freshman year of college when I was
Wow.
back home.
There you
I
go.
had people there to see it.
Okay,
was-
then it was real. It was real.
It was in a match, actually. This is a pretty good story. I was playing
wow.
a 2v2 best ball match. It was the 17th hole. Me and my buddy were down one. And it was an elevated green, and you kind of couldn't see the hole, but you could see
Yeah.
the ball around it just like a little bit. I hit this shot. I was playing terribly at this point. I hit this like knockdown punch shot, and it's going straight. It's like finally I hit a shot on the green, and I was just glad. And I just kind of said, "Thank God." And I turned away, and I look at my teammate, and he's watching it, and all of a sudden he goes, "I think that went in." And I was like, "What?" And so I
What?
I drove up there. Sure enough, it's in the bottom of the hole. I pick it up and I yell back at the tee box. I say, my my teammate's friend's name was Hunter. I said, Hunter, we're all square. And I walked to the next tee box.
That's unbelievable.
It felt so good, dude.
Oh, did you win the match?
I think we tied it. I think we
Okay, yeah.
finished all square.
Hey, that doesn't matter. That is awesome,
It
man.
was crazy.
What a story.
I
Jeez.
know. That
But
was
Siwoo
awesome.
Kim has done that 6 times over.
On
And neither
tour.
of us are Siwoo Kim. So,
No, no. Who knows how many times he's done it in his
oh
career? Like
gosh,
that's
some of
just
those
on
guys have
tour.
plenty. Yeah.
I know. One guy
But
that does.
we've seen some guys have their first ever ace on tour. I think Justin Thomas had his first ever one on tour in like 2018.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah,
Which is crazy to think about. Like
very.
wild.
Hey,
Max
another guy who's back.
Max Homa had
Yep.
a great event. He shot 64 in the second round to tally his best score in 23 major starts. He was in the final round on Saturday. Didn't play his best on Saturday or Sunday, for a matter of fact, but
Yeah.
second great weekend
The
in a
game
row.
is there, right?
He's
Like
there.
you think about it, he had such an awful start to 2025 after being pretty solid in most events the last couple of years. He had always been around that top 20, top 25 marker, and he was just miscut after miscut. Yeah, I think he missed the cut in like 5 straight events earlier in
Yeah,
the year. I think it's too early to say whether he's actually back or not. You can't decide that until they're actually, contending on Sundays, but it's a great sign for a great guy and a player that a lot of people like.
I totally agree. And I saw some stuff on social media about his golf swing that, people were kind of breaking down why he's back. There was a lot of people there were a lot of people saying that he was really stuck to begin
Yeah,
the season. So his swing plane was really low and his club face was shut. And now his hands are a whole lot higher and that club face is open. So I think he's in a really good spot to now be a little bit more consistent because like he missed every cut at the start of the year. It
yeah,
was so hard to
yeah,
watch.
yeah.
Another Tiger Woods and Jack Nicklaus comparison surfaced.
We never get tired of these.
We never get tired of these. I've
Never.
never seen this one. Have you?
I had not. This
Okay.
is insane, though. This
This
is
is
nuts.
insane. In their first 22 majors, Jack won 7, Tiger won 8, which is wild.
Yeah.
Jack was 40 over for those 22 majors. Tiger was 81 under for a difference of 121 strokes. That is
When you put
insane.
that in the document this afternoon, I had to read it, I think, 3 or 4 times. Because and I thought about it, and I think I have a theory for this. Because the advancements in golf club and ball technology have been incredible
Yeah,
since the difference between these two guys have played. The advancements in difficulty of golf courses, I do not think has been it's been great, but I don't think it's comparable. I think, there's just more room to invent and create with equipment than there is with courses. Courses have gotten harder, they have gotten longer. That's absolutely a fact.
yeah.
But I don't think it's the same. So I think there is some scoring differences in that, and guys are able to shoot lower scores now than they maybe were in Jack's era. Regardless, the thing that stands out to me the most is that both of these guys in those first 22 majors won over a third of their starts. That's the part that jumps out to me the most.
I agree. I forgot that as I was reading it. I was like, 7 and 8? Did I
That's
make
a
a
third.
typo? Like
No.
22 starts, dude.
Yeah.
That is absurd.
Special players.
Special players. Speaking of impressive major championship records, Adam Scott has made 96 consecutive major appearances.
Wow.
However, he needs 51 more to
Okay.
overtake Jack Nicklaus for first on that list.
I assume Tiger is second.
No, Adam is second.
Oh,
I
wow.
don't think Tiger was even third.
Wow.
Because it's consecutive starts. And Tiger had
He had off and on everywhere. Yeah.
that spiel. Yeah.
Yes.
So he wasn't even top 3 Tiger, but Adam Scott, he's one of those guys that's always hanging around.
Yep.
He's
Holy
always
cow. Yeah, 146 consecutive starts for the Golden Bear. Um a streak began at the 1962 Masters and ended after the 98 US Open.
holy cow.
That's a lot of
That's
majors.
a lot of majors. And that's a lot of wins, as we know, that he
Yes.
got.
Greatest major champion of all time.
That's right.
We crowned him as such earlier in the year.
We did. That pretty much ends it for our major championship talk, but we got a
Yep.
few more gimmies. This one's kind of crazy. The last time that Rory McIlroy paid a greens fee was 2005. He said it was 250 euros at Valderrama.
I assume that's in Spain, probably.
I think so.
If it's euros. Hey, I'd like to play golf for free for my entire life.
Yeah.
That's
Hey.
the year I was born. Yeah,
Whoa.
oh 05. I know.
That's crazy.
So Rory hasn't paid for a round of golf in the time I've been on this earth. That's pretty crazy. I'd like to have that.
And he probably never will.
No.
He probably never will.
No insane club GM or club pro is going to say, no, pay the greens fee, buddy. Nope.
Yeah, could you imagine?
Yep.
That would be
we're
like
not
biggest
waiving your
news.
golf cart fee either, buddy.
Yeah, you gotta pay for that cart.
You got to pay for it.
And caddy, you gotta pay for that too.
Got to pay for the 4 caddy.
Guarded.
Some random 14-year-old kid who's a high schooler.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, those are good jobs though.
They are, man.
They're good.
Yeah.
Those are good jobs. Well, our favorite college kid. Speaking of
That's right.
teenagers,
Yep.
well, although I think he's in his 20s,
I
Luke
definitely think he
Clanton.
is.
Yeah, Luke
Yeah.
Clanton
What a
was.
year he's having.
Yeah, he won the Tallahassee NCAA Regional, shooting 15 under for 3 rounds, his 4th collegiate win this year. And his school, Florida State, won the team event. So they are moving on to nationals, which are upcoming. I actually don't know when that is.
I find it for you.
You find it for me? Okay.
I do.
Cool. I was going to look it up. That's all you.
Those late May, early June. So it's probably next couple of weeks. Let's see. This year, the D1 Championship is scheduled to be held from May 23rd to the 28th
23rd. Okay. Gotcha.
Yep. At Omni La Costa Resort and Spa in Carlsbad, California.
That's right. And hey, for anyone that's wondering, the D3 National Golf Championships are being played right now. Kenyon College currently tied for 10th after the first day.
Not too bad.
They're in contention. I think they're like
good
7-8 back.
Okay,
I remember.
Hey, they've got some. Hey, go Owls.
Go Owls.
I'm rooting for the Owls, man.
I can't believe you remember that, dude. That's
Oh,
crazy.
come on. I'm good with mascots.
My guy. Let's go.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
all right.
Clanton.
Another thing Clanton did.
Go for it.
This was today. This got announced 9 hours ago. He won the Ben Hogan Award, which is basically the Heisman for men's college golf.
Yeah.
Best golfer in the country. Some pretty good company. We say this a lot. Good company. Oberg won it 2 times. John Rahm won it twice. Ricky Fowler won it. Sahith Theegala won it in 2020. Victor Hovland won it. Some pretty good golfers, I'd say.
Yeah, it's a good
pretty
list.
solid. Yeah, decent. Yeah.
He's probably not going to win it twice because I don't think he's going back to school.
I think he's going to get his card. I don't think there's any reason for him to.
Yeah, I hope he does. He's such a good player.
Yeah,
and he's fun to watch. He's a fun young kid.
If you follow college golf, he's a blast.
Yeah,
there's a lot of really good talents that we're going to see kind of dominate the tour once this current crop of guys have run their course.
I agree.
Speaking of the current crop of guys,
Andrew.
Oh my goodness, we had our favorite golfer. He has quickly become one of my favorites on tour purely because he is such a running gag on this show. Sepp Straka won the Truist Championship, and I could not be more happy. Let's see. I texted you. Let's see. What did I say?
Find the receipts.
Oh my gosh.
Sepp Straka.
I said, yeah. Because remember, we reignited the Straka love in our last episode.
We did.
Where you posted the clip of when we were talking, you were guessing the highest birdie average on tour, and you thought it was Rory or Scotty. I'm like, nope, it's one of our favorite characters here on tour. And I said, and you're like, is it Sepp Straka? And I'm like, it's Sepp Straka. So we had a good laugh about that. And then I said, on May 10th, on Saturday, I said, oh my God, after I got the notification that the PGA Tour app tells me Sepp Straka 13 under takes the lead during round 3 of the Truist Championship. Tap to see leaderboard. I'm like, oh my God. And you said, holy crap, this is not a drill, people.
Not a drill.
Yeah.
Oh,
And then the day tomorrow, or the day after, Sepp Straka takes the lead again at 3:42 p.m. At 5:58 p.m., I say he won. Oh my God. And you said, no way, bro, let's go. My GOAT. We love Sepp Straka
We
around
love
these
Sepp
parts.
Straka.
Hey, man, he's in good company.
He is.
Only player other than Rory McIlroy to win twice this year.
That's insane.
I think. All right, which major do you think Sepp Straka is going to win first? And notice how I said not if, but when.
Which one? Yes, I like that very much. I would say he seems like a PGA guy.
Oh yeah.
He seems like I think he could get it done at a U.S. Open
Yep.
because he makes so many birdies. But I think
agree.
PGA.
Yep. Yeah.
He's such a fun player, dude.
He's got to do it, man.
I love him
He's
so much.
Do it.
He missed the cut though at the PGA.
I know. Odd, right?
I was
who cares? He's still won. He's still a winner.
Still yeah.
He's still number one in our hearts.
It's exactly
he's
right.
Top 10 in the world.
Yeah.
How about that?
He and Shane Lowry, both top 10 for the first time in their careers.
I'm surprised that Lowry hasn't snuck in at some point.
I know. Me too.
But he's having a great 2025. There's no doubt.
His whole, since last year he had a great year too. He's stepping it up. It's going to be fun come Ryder Cup time to see those two on Team Europe.
Fiery. Will Sepp Straka he has to, right?
Yeah.
He's got to make the European team. Our Latvian king. Our Latvian king.
He's totally making it.
Is he Austrian?
He's Austrian. He's Austrian.
Okay.
Yep.
The flags are similar.
They are.
Pardon my mistake. Anyway, another one that I didn't add to our little prep sheet here. Today, Golf Digest released the 2025 version of their America's 100 Greatest Golf Courses. And this is a fun one for me to peek through because I dream of these. This is not the public courses. I like to call it the top 100 courses I'll never play.
I like it.
And can you guess which is number one on the list?
Well, I saw that. Isn't Augusta National number 2?
Sure is.
So what's the title of the list again? Like
America's 100 Greatest Golf Courses.
Is it Cypress Point?
No.
Ooh.
No, it is not. Cypress Point is number 3.
Ah.
So you're right there.
I'm right there.
But it's an uber private club on the East Coast.
East Coast.
Yep.
Uber private.
They don't really play. It's super exclusive. They don't really play events there.
Holy crud. I'm so bad with golf courses in this scenario.
Pine Valley.
Pine Valley. Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Augustus 2. Cypress Point 3. Shinnecock Hills comes in at 4. We'll just go through the top 10. Oakmont Country Club in Pennsylvania is number 5. And that's relatively, relatively relevant as that's where our next major is going to be.
Woo!
So we got great courses this year. Number 6 is Marion, the East Course in Ardmore, Pennsylvania. Beautiful course. National Golf Links of America in Southampton, New York is 7th. Sand Hills in, let's see, that is, gosh, what state is that? New Hampshire. I should know that. Sand Hills Golf Club in Mullen, New Hampshire. No, it is not. Nebraska. God, I'm stupid. Pebble Beach at 9, and number 10 is Fishers Island Golf Club in Fishers Island, New York. So some pretty beautiful courses on that list.
No Kiowa.
No Kiowa. Let's see. I'll Command F this. Kiowa comes in at number 30.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm surprised.
Yep. Hey, Crooked Stick Golf Club is number 9. Carmel, Indiana's own. I've never played it. I never will play it. Yeah. No chance. Nope.
Hey, you did play an adjacent course though last weekend that certain live tournament is going to.
Yes, I did. I've played it about 6 times in the last week and a half.
Oh,
haven't broken 90, but here we are. We got one more shot at it on Thursday.
How's it looking?
Oh, it's in good shape, man. It really is. Those greens are tough. The guys are going to tear it up, but it's a fun course.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Our last 2 gimmies before we get into everybody's favorite subject. Again, way too early. I guess it's really not way too early to be talking about the U.S. Open at Oakmont. It's the next major. But you put this in here. When Oakmont opened in 1904, there were 8 par 5s and 1 par 6. Yeah. What? And it was a par 80?
It was a par 80.
Sign me up.
Dude, right?
I'd play it.
I'd play. Dude, I want to play a par 6.
Scheffler, your winner at 35 under.
Yeah.
Oh,
at 50 under, Scotty Scheffler wins the U.S. Open. Dude, par 80, par 6, a par 6.
Yeah.
That's electric.
That's
I
nuts.
I would love to play it.
Yeah.
Our last gimme. This is very cool, but I'm a little bit intrigued by all of it.
Yeah.
The TGL announced
Yep.
that Motor City Golf Club will be the beginning of an expansion movement for TGL, but it's coming in 2027. Andrew, what are your
Yeah.
thoughts?
I think it's great. I think Detroit is a great base to have a team out of. Next, I feel like you got to go to Chicago.
Mm,
I think you have to. Or
okay.
you go, I don't know, maybe you go Seattle or
I was
something,
thinking
or
Dallas.
Dallas. Oh, yeah, Dallas has got to be the next one. Dallas, then Chicago, then maybe Seattle. But, I'm reading it makes sense. The owner of it'll be owned by a group involving, this is according to the Detroit Free Press, owned by a group involving Sheila Hamp, the primary owner of the Detroit Lions. So these are cash cows for sports owners. Why not expand their portfolio? I think the name is awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
Motor City
I mean,
Golf
come
Club.
on.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
I will say though, I am shocked that they didn't go to Dallas or Chicago first.
Yeah.
Detroit wasn't really on my radar.
Yeah, I feel like you and I were both thinking that Dallas would make the most sense. If you get Scotty Scheffler and Jordan Spieth on the same team, that's going to draw some eyes.
So many eyes.
Yeah.
And it's not like too overpowered. Like I feel
No,
like those
no.
like that's a great
Yeah.
duo. I
Yeah.
wonder if those two are going to be representing Detroit. I don't know why they would.
I don't think they would. I think they'll hold out until a Texas team gets
Actually, on a
announced.
Texas team.
I don't know if either of them have a huge interest in playing right now. Who
Mm.
knows? I'd love to see him there, though. I love TGL.
Does anyone to you scream Motor City Golf Club
Gosh.
that's not in TGL?
I feel like somebody maybe with some power, right?
Mm.
So, you go down the list. Who isn't on TGL that, blasts it a long way that, maybe could be deserving of one of those spots? I don't know. Maybe Will Zalatoris?
Ooh. I like that a lot because
Possibly.
he's kind of got that Detroit kind of like worked through injury, dug it out of
Yeah,
the
yeah.
dirt a
Oh,
little
I didn't even
bit.
think about that. I just think it's because he has a crazy looking swing.
He does.
Is Minwoo Lee on a team? He's on a team,
He
right?
is, yes.
Okay. Yeah, I thought so.
Um, I don't know.
Gosh, man.
I mean, Sep
They,
Straka, if he
they,
wants to join
I mean,
and make my
obviously,
life better.
I'd, of course. Yeah. More Sepp Straka is always good.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm interested to see. I'm sad that it's not for a couple of years, but 2026, I think, everything's still, this was a trial year. They know it works. They're going to make more improvements, and then they'll be ready to bring in more teams.
Yeah. That was the other thing. I'm surprised they're not going straight into 2026, but they're spacing it out. It makes sense.
I think it's smart. You don't want to go too much and spread too thin too early.
Right. All right, time for Made or Missed, our favorite game
It's
show.
time.
I've got 99 points.
Da-da-da,
Andrew, you've got
da-da-da-da-da.
91.
Hey, I had a really good week
You
a couple
did.
of weeks ago with
We,
picking Scotty Scheffler.
yeah, we're at the same point that we were in the last episode because the Truist didn't have a cut. And after
Oh,
2 days,
Yeah.
I forgot to look at
Ah.
our self-made cut. So
Oh well, it's all right.
it's all right. We missed
We'll give you
a
a
week.
pass.
Thank you. I was in Australia.
It's okay.
So
We'll give you a pass. Starting off with a banger, Jordan Spieth,
Jordan
our first
Spieth.
made or missed candidate.
He missed the cut.
The Charles Schwab Challenge. Yeah, he struggled.
He struggled at the PGA.
PGA.
But this isn't as good of a field. I'm saying he makes it.
Okay, you're a big Spieth guy.
I am.
We know you love Jordan Spieth. I like Jordan Spieth a lot too. So I'm going to say he makes it. He's going to turn it around. This is probably not as hard of a course or as hard of a setup as
Sure.
it would have been for, the PGA. It's not a major. So I think there's a good chance he makes it this week.
All right, I'll send it right back to you with Ricky Fowler.
Oh, gosh.
This is a tough one.
Now, did he play the PGA?
I believe so.
Okay. Ricky Fowler.
I didn't
gotta
hear
go to
anything about what he did.
I didn't either. And, we haven't really heard anything, about him. He made the cut, or he missed the cut at the PGA. It looks like he was 4 over. So I don't know. He's not had a great year, and he's getting upwards. He's upwards of 35. He's 36 years old. He might go down as one of a fan favorite to not win a major. I hope he wins one, but I don't think he's going to miss this weekend. I think he's going to have it. I don't think he's going to contend for a win, but he will be playing on Saturday and Sunday.
I'm going to agree with you. He tied for 15th. He topped 15 at the
Yeah.
Truist, and he was in the lead there at one point. So I think he's going to get back to that form. Danny Willett.
Oof.
I mean, you
It's
talk about
tough.
a guy that you just dislike after the 2016
Saha,
Masters.
yeah. Especially if you're a Spieth fan.
Especially if you're a Spieth guy, he's gonna miss the cut, and
You think so?
that's not emotionally involved at all.
I,
That's
I'm
totally
I'm with you there.
okay.
I don't think he's got the field is good enough to where a guy like Danny Willett, I think, kind of gets pushed down the order.
Yeah,
At like, the CJ Cup Byron Nelson for sponsorship purposes. I think he's one of those guys that you feel confident saying he's going to make it there, but this week I don't see it.
we got another one of those guys up next. JJ Spawn,
Oh man,
kind of a
who
fringe
was
guy.
somehow in contention at the fifth major, the Players, right?
Yes, he was.
Somehow he was in a playoff with Rory.
Yep.
Kind of choked it away, but it's okay. JJ Spawn, I am going to say he makes the cut.
Ooh,
You weren't expecting that, were you, Graham?
I was not. I'm gonna say he
And you're going
misses.
to say he misses. Okay.
I am.
He's
We
had a
gotta.
little bit of a tough run when it
He
comes
has.
to, recent events. I'll pull up his recent results. And I don't think he made the cut. I don't even know if he played at at the PGA. I assume he did.
Yeah, I think he did.
Yeah. JJ Spawn. Go to the old Google. PGA Championship. Yeah, he was tied for 37th at +1 at the end of the weekend. So he did make the cut. So
All
that's
right.
I feel like after making the cut at a major, you're on a high, you're playing good golf. Making a cut at a major is hard. I don't see any reason to say he's not going to make it this week.
I like it. Neil Shipley,
Oh, I love
another
Neil Shipley.
favorite. I do too, but I don't think he makes it.
I agree. I hope
Yeah,
he gets hot, but
me too.
I see he's listed at plus 1100, excuse me, plus 11,000 odds to win.
Oof.
He's just not in that, group where I say I'm able to pencil him in and say, okay, he's going to make the cut. I don't think he is.
Yeah.
I hope he does, though. I hope he proves me wrong.
What do you think about JT Poston?
Another really tough one who had a really good PGA championship. He was solid, man. He
He
he was he
was.
was around there. Matthew Pavon was also around there. Is it Matthew Pavon? I think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I am going to say same logic with Spawn. I think Poston makes it.
All right. I like that. I think he's going to
Yeah.
make it as well. I'm going to agree with you
Especially
this
with how
time.
well he played last week.
Yeah. I'm also going to say that Keith Mitchell makes the cut. He competed at the Truist. He was in that final
Okay.
pairing. I think he's going to do well.
Man. Keith Mitchell, huh? All right.
He's a bomber.
He is. He can mash it, but again, you know me, I like to look at results. A guy with one career win,
Yep.
and this year has made a lot of cuts, but he missed the cut at the PGA. And he doesn't have numbers that jump off the page at you.
Okay.
This is a field where you think he's a guy that could maybe make it. I don't think he's going to this week.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm going to
okay.
go with no.
Missed. I think we're going to agree on Matt Kuchar.
3, 2, 1, missed.
Missed.
Yep. I love Cooch, but it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
He can maybe make the cut at the Corrales Challenge in Punta Cana, but maybe not this.
Yeah.
Love
Maybe
him
not
though.
even
Great,
that.
great golfer.
Yeah. Good player.
In
What do
his
you
heyday, he's a fun guy to watch.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
Kind of an interesting swing. It's fun. He got a cool move.
Big time.
What do you think about Tom Kim?
I like it. I like him. I
TK.
think I think he's gonna do well.
I agree with you. I think he's going to make
Yeah.
it.
As a pencil in guy, especially in this field. Not a lot of world top 10 guys are playing. I think you can write him right in.
Then how about the Canadian Mackenzie
Always
Hughes?
got to have one in there. I'm
Always
going to
gotta have
let you
one in.
go first on this one,
I
Graham.
think he's going to make it. I think he's going to
Really?
compete.
Okay. Let's see
I
what
like
his
him.
odds are. Hughes. His odds are plus 6,500, right around Lucas Glover and Ben Griffin,
Oh,
Andrew Novak. So there's some interesting company. He's
yeah.
kind of right in the middle of guys who are right on that teetering edge of can they make it? Can they or will they miss out? At the PGA, he was cut at +9. So not a
Oh,
great look for him.
I may have made an
However,
error.
you may have, but remember, CJ Cup Byron Nelson, he also missed the cut.
Oh,
RBC Heritage, he was tied for third. So the flashes are there. However, I'm going to say he misses it this week.
All right. I like it. Andrew, one thing left to do. Who is your
Only one
winner?
thing. Oh, man. Okay. I'm going to have you guess what Scotty Scheffler's odds to win pre-tournament are. Just take a stab.
Oh, dude. I feel like it should be in the minuses at this
It's
point.
not.
I
It's
know.
not.
I
But
feel like it should be. Is it? I'm going to say plus 600.
plus 250. Yeah. Pretty insane. The next closest is Jordan Spieth at plus 2,200.
Interesting.
At plus
Oh,
2,200.
22. I missed that part. I heard Jordan Spieth and I zoned out.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh,
That's
man.
unreal.
It's tough to say. However, I look down the list, and I'm going to pick somebody fun this week.
Ooh.
Give me Akshay Bhatia.
Ooh. Interesting.
He'll probably miss the cut based on my luck, but
I don't
think
mind it though.
I don't hate the pick either. I was looking at names. I was looking at I can't. I've said it a couple of times this year. I can't bet on Tommy Fleetwood until he actually wins.
You made that mistake once.
I did. It was a very tough mistake. I don't trust Harris English to come out and perform. Siwoo Kim was also a guy I was thinking about, just based on how well he played at the PGA. I don't trust JJ Spawn to win. I don't trust Brian Harmon to win. Ben Griffin, Andrew Novak could make some splashes. And then I saw Akshay Bhatia. I'm like, hey, if he gets hot, he can play his way around the course.
All right. I like it.
You want to go with Scotty, but I don't think you should.
I'm not going to.
Good.
Because I gave
Good
you
man.
the opportunity to take him and you said no. So I'm going to say no as well.
Gentlemen, Scotty agreement. I like it.
Exactly. It's a good agreement, some would say.
Yep.
I, though, am going to go with the other top tenor in Hideki Matsuyama.
Okay, I like it. You think he's going to bounce back after missing the cut at a major?
I think after banging those golf balls on the range on Friday,
he was ready.
I think he's in a good mindset now. I think
like
he's
it.
ready to attack this week. At what? Oh, I forgot the name of the tournament.
Gosh, the course. It's the Charles Schwab Challenge.
Thank you. The Charles Schwab.
Charles Schwab. I think I said Swab.
Swab.
Colonial Country Club. The purse is $9.5 million. We are in, looks like, there's two of them that show up. I think we're in Fort Worth, Texas.
All right.
Yes, we are.
That'll be fun.
Yep.
That's going to be a good event. That's
longest
a big purse,
running
too.
non-major tour event to be held at the same venue. They've held. Excuse me. No, I am wrong. This is not right. That's the Colonial. No, it is. I am right. They've changed the name. It's the Colonial National Invitation, but for sponsorship reasons, it's the Charles Schwab Challenge since 2019. They've held it there since 1946.
How about it?
Yeah.
How about it? Wow.
Go Fort Worth, man.
Go Fort Worth. Hey, it's going to be a fun one.
It's going to be a fun weekend, man.
Yeah. We appreciate you all for listening. This might have been a little bit longer because we missed a week.
We did.
Apologize if you were banking on a PGA preview and we cannot get it to you. But hopefully the PGA wrap-up brings everything back brings everything back full circle. That's all we want here.
That's all we want.
Things are going to get interesting this summer. We are going to keep recording. It's going to be like this for a while.
Look a little different. Yeah.
Look a little different.
We'll both be in different locations.
Exactly.
But we'll figure it out and try and keep it up.
That's right. So we will keep you all updated on socials. But for now, that is going to do it. Thank you all so much for joining. I'm Graham Nash.
I'm Andrew Hillsman.
We'll see you next week on The Cut Line.